Welcome to hell. Sorry, I mean Venus. Some call this planet Earth's twin. But this world is a reality far from home. Are you ready to experience this scorching planet firsthand? Your mission is to survive on this hell-like surface for just 5 seconds. Rest assured, those 5 seconds will feel quite long. Venus is the second planet in the solar system and Earth's closest neighbor. At its closest point, Venus is only 40 million kilometers away. That's a distance that the fastest jets on Earth can cover in about 70 days, even under atmospheric conditions. But reaching Venus is not as simple as just visiting a neighbor. After 4 months in space, you will finally have the chance to see this beautiful and deadly planet up close. 4.5 billion years ago, Venus and Earth formed in the same region of the solar system. Despite being about the same size and having similar gravity, these two worlds had completely different fates. The surface of Venus is known for its extreme conditions. If you tried to live there, your first problem would be extreme heat. Your second problem would be constant high pressure. We know this thanks to the countless space probes that have been sent to Venus. Some orbited the planet, some just flew over it, and some managed to land on the surface. But none of the probes that landed lasted long. And why is that? Now you're about to find out the answer to that question. You start descending through the atmosphere towards the surface. Are there beautiful clouds in sight? Absolutely. But you don't want to know what's inside these clouds. These yellowish ribbons hanging in the sky are clouds of sulfuric acid. If you had the chance to smell them, you would realize that they smell like rotten eggs. But to be exposed to this smell, you have to take off your helmet, which is not recommended. About 50 kilometers above the surface of Venus, the atmosphere is so thick that visibility is almost zero. This dense atmosphere completely obscures the planet's landscape and its tens of thousands of volcanoes. Most of the atmosphere is made up of carbon dioxide, and this gas traps heat on the planet's surface, keeping it incredibly hot. How hot is it? You're about to find out. As you descend another 15 kilometers, the haze begins to dissipate, and the rust-colored surface reveals itself. Mountains, valleys, and still active volcanoes make up this landscape. Venus is the planet with the most known volcanoes, more than 1,600 in total. Right now, you are flying to collect samples and study the landscape. The atmosphere contains mostly carbon dioxide and a small amount of nitrogen, which is consistent with previous measurements. Just when you decide to land, a huge cloud of dust forms as your spacecraft touches the surface. This cloud will not dissipate for minutes because of the dense atmosphere. When the dust finally settles, you look up at the sky, but you can't see that familiar yellow circle of the sun. No matter what time of day it is on Venus, it always looks like dawn. This is because the atmosphere only allows 10% of the sunlight to reach the surface. But these extreme conditions don't just prevent you from enjoying the view. In 1981, the Soviet probe Venera 13 managed to land on this surface. It lasted for 127 minutes after landing. This was the longest time any spacecraft had ever spent on the surface of Venus. But Venera 13 eventually fell victim to this hostile environment. It was crushed or melted under the extreme pressure. Venus's atmospheric pressure is 90 times that of Earth at sea level. This is equal to ocean pressure at a depth of 900 meters. You, like Venera 13, have landed in this harsh environment. Your protective suit protects you from the crushing pressure and scorching heat. When you look at your thermometer, you see an incredible temperature of 475 degrees Celsius. This temperature is high enough to melt lead. Your pressure suit is working hard to protect you from these extreme conditions. But the outer surface of your suit is constantly wearing out. Every second you stay in this environment poses more and more risks. Suddenly, you realize that part of your protective suit is torn. A sudden change in pressure makes you feel like you are underwater. Carbon dioxide in the atmosphere scalds the inside of your mouth and throat before filling your lungs. If you can't get back to your spacecraft very quickly, You will lose your life in just a few seconds. Fortunately, the toxic rain of sulfuric acid evaporates before it reaches the surface due to the extreme heat. In retrospect, perhaps we should have considered making Venus habitable before exploring it. If Venus had been terraformed before we set foot on its surface, the journey would have been much less deadly. But these extreme conditions show not only how much a planet can change, but also how resilient humanity is. Perhaps Venus is teaching us one of the greatest lessons about how to protect our home. See you in the next video on a new journey of discovery.